think. All right. Hi, how's it going? I'm Josh Steen, the resident director here at Corinth Theater Arts. This is my very good friend, Clay Nails.
Along with my beard.
His beard, you're getting beardly there. Clay's also the president of our board of directors. And we're trying, we have a little bit of new technology with us tonight, so bear with us. Hopefully this works a little bit better. So what we'll do is we're going to stream live to Facebook. We have some new video equipment, and we'll upload it to YouTube. A good copy of it to YouTube later on tonight. So, all right. So for this week's Going Off book, we've got a couple of things. First of all, let me show you this. So we're out of our yard signs, but I have this from our production of Death Trap. And let me tell you what this is. This is this is original artwork that I created. I borrowed a theme here from the Broadway musical Chess, the Love Chess. And in Sidney Bruhl's home, there are lots of posters and there's artwork and stuff from his past plays. And this was the Murder Game. So I chose Chess because I love the visuals from Chess and the single red square there, Sidney Bruhl thriller, and then because you couldn't see it, I actually listed the full cast names on there. It was starring Clay Nails and our very good friend Matthew Elizabeth Wood, and that's yours. I've had it in my house. I don't know why. So
if you've never seen Chess, you need to check it out.
Yeah, he's full of them. I created all the posters for those. All the cast members got one. That was a really good show. Death Trap was.
What was that in 2017?
Yes.
3 years in October.
Yeah, it will be. Death Trap won a Magnolia Award for the set. We had a really great set for Death Trap.
And let me say that aside from your set for Steel Magnolias, that may be the best set that I've seen in. I don't know when. Your set, you really outdid yourself for the set for Steel Magnolias, but aside from that, the set for Death Trap was,
let me say this.
Fantastic.
That was when this wasn't my full-time job, and I would just work hours into the night. Like I would get up and, go to work and then come to rehearsal, and after rehearsal I would just stay. And, I wanted the outside of the house to look like an old barn, kind of, because of the story. And so I kind of started adding some wood to the proscenium one night after rehearsal, and it just kind of stuck. At 1:30 in the morning, I sent Emily a text message. I was like, I'm going to be here. Like I just got started and could not stop. We have a ton of older wood pieces back in the shop, and I actually used some original wood from the building on our set as the outside of the barn, so I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was a great
and if I had it all to do over again, which maybe I will one day, I would do almost that very same set, but I would have loved for the set to have been able to breathe in and out, to make you so that you could feel that tension, to have the set walls move in and out. Maybe one of these days we'll get around to doing Death Trap again. Okay, so there's something else I got to talk about tonight. I can't remember what it is.
About Frozen, about what the rest of the season.
Yes, so let's talk about that. That's a great idea. Currently going on right now, we're doing this series every Friday night. We're going to continue to do this series every Friday night, even as we get back into our regular routine, and hopefully, once we get to our productions again, this series will include a cast member and something like that of the show on Friday night. So that'll be kind of neat. So we're going to continue this series. Our Fear Thee Not Shakespeare group is going really, really well. Act 1 is really, we're really comfortable with it, and I'm really looking forward to what we turn out.
The other night, by the way.
No, Dan read for you.
Thank you.
He did a nice job. I mean, not like what you would do.
I'm playing the ghost, by the way.
Yes, he's Senior Hamlet, and I'm going to play Hamlet, unless I can pass that off to somebody, which I'm trying to. But it's going really, really well. And what we're going to do is it's all digital, an all digital production. We're going to do 2 versions. We're going to do an original Shakespearean text version, and it's all going to be recorded on Zoom. And then we're going to do a modern text version. So we've taken the text and modifying it. It's going to be really, really great. 5 past directors from CTA's history, including myself, is in our little project there. I'm really, really excited about it. Dr. Andrew Strickland is playing Claudius. I think he's doing an amazing job. I hope that he gets to play that role on stage one day. If he would just retire and would move back here and just help me and be in our shows, then we would do Hamlet for real. It could be Claudius. I think we mentioned our good friend Petey Pace is Polonius, and it's a really great cast of folks.
Petey, if you're out there, we appreciate you being involved in Hamlet. It's good to have you back.
Yeah. Well, now we just got to get him back on stage, which is what next season is for.
The stage is right out there.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. But we have chosen to forego Tennessee Williams, Summer and Smoke, and technically All in the Timing, although I think we could do All in the Timing like this.
Yeah.
I think that we really could. But for now, not going to appear on our stage. That was going to conclude our second curtain series for the season. So Frozen, we're looking at show dates in June. That seems to be what we feel comfortable with. And Chicago in July. I will tell you that I'm working with a group of directors from around the country, and we're coming up with some best practices for how life returns to normal. And so, more than likely, you won't. There's no way on earth we would let anyone come into the Playhouse and cram 200 people into the Playhouse. We're not going to do that. So you're definitely looking at probably half capacity seating by the time we return for Frozen, as well as, we're going to clean, once we get rehearsals going again, we're going to clean between every rehearsal. And one of the interesting things that we've been talking about in this group is, what about playbills? Because a lot of time we recycle playbills. Yeah. I hate playbills. I think they're a huge waste of money.
They are.
So we're going to move to a digital playbill option when we return, and I'm excited about that. It'll make my life easier and save us money because we're a nonprofit. We don't have any.
Yeah, but by the way, please don't ingest any Lysol or Clorox, despite what you might have heard.
No.
That's the worst thing that you can do.
This is good, though.
Please do not do that.
Yeah. So, oh my God, it's been so long since I've done a podcast. I forgot that you don't chew or crunch anything on air. I'm so embarrassed. So we're looking at ways to make sure that you are safe when you return, when all of our patrons and our friends return. So just keep watching Facebook. We'll definitely have more updates about that there. We'll share those updates with you well before time so that you are comfortable, and we want to answer any questions that you have. We're looking forward to seeing you folks again.
Yeah, the best way you can find out what we're doing is follow us on social media, either Facebook or
Instagram. Really,
everything that happens here, almost by the minute.
I'm telling you, and I feel no qualms about saying this, that we are the best advertised community theater in the state of Mississippi.
If you don't know what happened here at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m.
Yeah,
look at Instagram.
Yeah,
and Facebook,
unless we have a reason to not be, we are constantly promoting what we do. So that's the thing. Also, there's something else I was going to mention, and I flipping blanked. I'm just scatterbrained. The new technologies. No, I'm not getting to that yet. There's something else. Next week we're going to talk about our upcoming season. I think that's something that I really want to focus on and make sure we all know what we're getting into for next season. So we had one big very audition for second curtain series last year. Yeah. We're going to do that again. I thought that was very successful. Next week we'll talk in detail about season 52, and we'll do a reading from that. Yeah. We'll maybe A Curious Incident in the Dog in the Night Times, but we'll do a reading from.
And it might involve something you saw last week, perhaps. We don't know yet.
We don't know. We'll see. So next week we'll talk about season 52. There are lots of great theater resources out there right now. Please look for them. The National Theater's version of Frankenstein, where the creature and Dr. Frankenstein swap roles, featuring Benedict Cumberbatch. Highly recommend it. As well as all of the things that the Globe Theater has out right now for absolutely free. You should be watching these. You just should. You should be watching these.
Yeah, and what we did last week, the reading from Waiting for Godot.
Godot.
There is an entire production of Waiting for Godot on YouTube for free. That is fantastic.
It's filmed. It's wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is outrageous.
Yeah. We had a great response to that too, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all I got. I'm gonna move on. Going to our no. Yes, no, I did that. I'm good. All right, going on to the Critics' Choice Cookbook. Our recipe of the week kind of goes along with tonight's reading, and it is the after theater punch that I promised in one of the earlier episodes of Going Off Book, and this was served at the reception for the opening of Gigi in 1986 here in this very room, actually. In the lobby here at CTA. Dr. Richard Stratton was in that. He talks about that show all the time. He's tried to get me to do it a lot. It's a good show.
Is that a musical?
It's a musical, yeah. There you go. Well,
I'm out.
You're out, except for when we come back and we do our reviews. So
or The Criminologist.
Yeah, that counts as a musical too. So this is after theater punch. We'll see how this goes. What you need is 1 dozen small juicy oranges, thinly sliced, a half dozen of large ripe lemons, thinly sliced, 1 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple, 2 11-ounce cans of mandarin orange slices crushed in the juice from the can, 1 pint of Napoleon 4-star brandy, some good brandy, 1/5 of good rye whiskey. This is where it gets spicy.
Stout.
1/5 of Irish whiskey.
It gets stout.
That makes it super stout. 1 pint of grenadine. 1 16-ounce jar of maraschino cherries with the juice. 1 pint of strong green tea, which I think is interesting, and then chilled good dry champagne. So at least 2 days before, preferably a week before expected use, put all the above except for the champagne into a stone, glass, or plastic container. Do not use metal. Let this stand at room temperature, covered tightly. Stir well 2 or 3 times a day. About a day before time to use, strain mixture through cheesecloth and put the liquid in a closed plastic container into the freezer. It will not freeze. You know why? Because it's basically paint thinner.
Yeah, so dadgummit
Yeah. When ready to serve, put cold mixture in a punch bowl and charge it with a well-chilled champagne. Use 1 cup of the mixture per 1/5 champagne. Use more if you like it stronger. Use very little ice in the bowl. I feel like I've had this here at CTA before,
Yeah,
like
I think
at the
I might have
Maggie's.
too, but I don't remember it. Which
I think this is the punch that Jean Plaxco used to bill as like her punch.
Yeah. And
It certainly is strong like
and
this.
there's a reason why I might not remember it too.
Yeah, all of the whiskeys.
Yeah, let me
that
add to it too that if you serve this or if you prepare this, be sure if you're traveling, all in all seriousness, have somebody to drive.
Yeah,
This
don't-
is not the kind of thing that you take a sip of and you're okay. If you take
No,
a sip of this,
you're
not.
Don't
need
you
to-
are well beyond what you need for this, right?
you don't
So don't do that. But I do believe that we've had this, and that means that some folks had that here, and then my guess is they had this and then saw the show. That's what we should do. We should just booze people up before every show, and they would love it more.
And then ask them for contributions.
You know, or yes,
Like-
exactly.
like-
Like right then, pass the hat.
The casinos, yeah.
That's the After Theater Punch. I'm looking forward to being able to put a copy of the Critics' Choice Cookbook in Tanya's little free library on 6th Street in Corinth. So we'll obviously post on social media when we do that. So that's a thing to look out for. Okay, so tonight we are throwing it back to Death Trap that we alluded to earlier. This is one of my favorite things that I've directed. And I'll say this because this is kind of a show in a show. It's not like Kiss Me Kate or, you know, The Merchant of Venice or anything else like that. It's not like literally a show and a show. It feels like it because Act 1 is just a precursor to the actual show, which is Act 2. Features a cast of just a handful of folks. Sidney Brule, Clifford Anderson are the main characters in the play. Did you win? You won a Maggie for this.
Mm-hmm, I did.
Did you win a Maggie?
I won a Maggie for that. I sure did, yeah.
Did you? No, you didn't.
I didn't.
David did.
Yeah, that was the year I hosted the Maggies.
You did,
David
yes.
won for the Glass
David won for Tom.
Which was well deserved, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely was. And to be quite frank, I really did want you and David to play these roles opposite of each other, but he was directing this bomb production,
And not
like
ridiculously good production.
not bomb as in bad, but like this bomb, the best thing I've ever seen.
I'm talking about of the Crucible.
Of the Crucible, of
Yeah,
Arthur Miller's
Selma,
Crucible
yeah.
in Arts and McNary in Selmer, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did that because I got to go see that, and it was amazing. David is one of my favorite directors, period. He's a pleasure to work for. He takes that same approach as an actor, which makes him just the best actor to work with. And I really wanted you and him to go toe-to-toe.
And in his stead, we had our other dear friend and fantastic actor,
Well,
the jack of all trades.
I mean, if you can't get David Maxon, you get Matt Wood. And if you can't get Matt Wood, you get David Maxon. They are both...
If you can't get either one of them, you shut the door and go home.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you have me substitute in and read. But it's really funny. I love this show for a variety of reasons. Everything about it worked pretty much, and it just was it was great. I love avant-garde stuff. We really we really challenged ourselves with the show in some realism standards, and it worked. We set things on fire on stage. We shot a real live crossbow. It was amazing. Matt almost broke his tailbone because he fell up the stairs.
Oh, and that's painful.
Oh gosh, I can hear it in my mind. And then I fell on those stairs like a month ago,
Yeah.
and I cried out for Matt Wood. If you don't know anything, Death Trap, R11 wrote Death Trap, and this featured
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve in the titular roles in the 70s, and it was super campy. We didn't want to go for campy. We went for horror. We went for the shocking horror aspect of Death Trap, and I thought it really, really worked.
Yeah. By the way, if you've ever seen the movie Sleuth, the original Sleuth from 1971, I think it is, with Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier, there are a lot of similarities between Sleuth
Yes.
and this. Hopefully someday here on this stage we'll be able to do Sleuth, but there are very many
We should
similarities.
do Sleuth.
That'll be a phenomenally good show.
I feel like they have done Sleuth before here. I don't know.
I'll be surprised if they had. R11 also wrote Rosemary's Baby.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. He's definitely most famous for that, but Death Trap, I think, is my favorite work by him. So it's just the synopsis of it. It's a play for 3 men, 2 women set in the isolated New England home of thriller playwright Sidney Brule. Clay will read for tonight because he played it. The action centers around the play, Death Trap. The opening line of the play is...
Death Trap, a thriller in 2 acts. 1 set, 5 juicy murder in Act 1, unexpected developments in Act 2, sound lighting, good control, last in all the right places, highly commercial.
And that's the actual show. Death Trap, a thriller by unknown dramatist Clifford Anderson, which he has sent to Sidney for comment. Or has he? Without a success to his credit for some years, which Sidney had many, but now he doesn't, Sidney plots with his reluctant wife Myra about how best to plagiarize Death Trap, and when Clifford turns up to discuss the play with the master, events take a sinister turn. Sidney and Clifford act out a particularly gruesome pair of murders before Myra, who does not realize they are faked and suffers a fatal heart attack in consequence. Death Trap is revealed as an ingenious means of murdering Myra, and Sidney and Clifford settle down to apparent domestic bliss because they're gay. Yes, that's why I liked it, that it featured this dubious plot and also homosexual men.
A gay relationship.
Yeah, what could have telling you,
Yeah.
we do it again. It's doing it with Max then.
Is that the only time I've ever been gay on stage? It is, isn't it? No, there was something else which was
I don't know.
kind of gay. When I played Big Daddy in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof,
Yes.
there were allusions to the fact that Big Daddy may have, if not
Had homosexual
been
relationships.
gay, blown both ways.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. But Sydney's plan to take an unexpected twist, takes an unexpected twist when Dutch clairvoyant Helga Tindorp begins to experience disquieting vibrations, and Clifford decides that Death Trap has a plot which is far too good to waste. Death Trap also brought back one of my most favorite people on earth, Linda Whitfield.
Who did win a Maggie for that and was
She did win a Maggie for that, and it was well deserved. It was well deserved.
Phenomenal. She was outrageously good.
It featured Clay, Matt Wood, June Plaxco, our very good friend Logan Barnes, who is in who plays Horatio in Hamlet.
New England now.
Yes, he is in New England. He's waiting for Clifford. He's waiting for his Clifford Anderson moment there. So we're going to read a portion of Death Trap tonight. Thanks for all those involved that are allowing us to do this. We're going to start at we're going to read a little bit of Act 1, the end of Act 1, Scene 1, that goes into Act 2. Clay will read for Clifford, and I will read for Sydney, and I will read for Clifford. That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
But we're not doing that. And I'll read the stage directions so you know what's going on. So now Sydney and Clifford cannot reveal that they have an actual relationship because they don't need to know that they don't want folks to know that they plotted to have Myra killed, or that Myra would die. So we're going to pick up there with Porter, who Logan played, who's the lawyer, taking an exit. Clifford has gone out, Sydney has sent him there, and Sydney is looking for something, and that's what we'll pick up, and I'll read some stage directions.
All right. So Porter says, as he's leaving
I will.
I will.
Sydney says,
and the girls.
So Sydney stands there watching for a moment and then closes the door and turns. He comes slowly into the study and stands looking at Clifford's side of the desk. Now this is important. In Act 1, Sydney Brule has just a normal desk. One normal desk. In Act 2, the curtain opens to reveal some modifications to Sydney's home. The biggest one is that now there is a partner desk, a desk where two people sit across from each other. He comes slowly into the study and stands looking at Clifford's side of the desk. Picks up something on it, examines it, puts it down, drums on the desktop, frowns. He gets his key out, chooses a likely one, and tries it. Won't go in. He gets another and tries again, more carefully. Same result. He pockets the keys, frowning, and then smiles. Going up around the desk, he takes the key from the drawer on his side and continues down and around to Clifford's side. Puts the key in, won't turn.
That was quick.
No. You got lines in there. You did this too when we did it.
I did.
Yeah.
I screwed that up.
Yeah. No.
Come on, you bastard.
Nope. He puts the key in, it won't turn.
Where are we here? This key won't turn. Shit.
There it is. He tries again without luck. Taking the key out, he goes back to his side and replaces it. Thinks a second and moves up to the wall of weapons. Our beautiful weapon wall. He takes down a flat-bladed stiletto. Back to the desk. Sitting in Clifford's chair, he sets to work with the stiletto. Inserts it above the drawer and pokes and levers. And
come on, you bastard. Goddamn old world craftsman.
Keeps trying, but it's no use. Defeated, he gets up and puts the stiletto back in its place. Looks at the desk and is inspired. Going quickly to his side of it, he moves the chair away. Takes out the center drawer and puts it down across the chair arms. Getting down on his knees, he peers in the drawer opening, then thrusts his arm into it and reaches as far as he can. Lots of he switches arms and tries harder, sweating a bit, but apparently near success.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Now he's really sweating. Glancing at the door and wincing and straining as he tries to extract his arm from the desk maw. Wincing and straining, and after considerable effort, he manages to do so. Sucking his injured fingers, he stands up, kicks the desk, examines his fingers, wipes them under his arm, picks up the drawer and fits it back in the desk. Slams it home with a vengeance. He hears something. He hurries to the front door and jumps over to the desk and to look through the fan light, and then hurries back in the study. Anguishes over the desk in last-ditch frustration.
Faces.
But then he runs to the French doors, unbolts them, and opens them a bit. runs back to his side of the desk, opens a drawer and takes out a manila folder, opens another drawer and takes out a dozen or so sheets of typing paper. He shoves the paper into the folder, puts it down, closes the drawer, partly covers the folder with a loose piece of paper as Clifford unlocks the front door and comes in with a bag of groceries.
That was quick.
Only went to Gibson's.
Here, give them to me. I'll put them away.
It's all right, I don't mind.
No, come on, you shop. I'll put away. Get back to the welfare office.
God forbid. Sidney goes off. Clifford takes the bills and coins from his jacket pocket and puts them down. The change is in the bowl. The avocado is supposed to be organic. Sidney says something unintelligible but affirmative sounding.
Yes.
So there's some rummaging around on the desk. Clifford does, and we see that they're they're hiding this work from each other. Cliff, would you give me a hand in here? Clifford goes in towards the kitchen. Clifford says,
I'm Sidney.
"Oh yeah, where are you?" Sorry, God, I got us.
I'm here. Cliff, would you give me a hand in here?
Where are you?
Where are you?
Hey, wait.
Oh, there you are. I didn't think you heard, so I came around.
Beer now?
Got a sudden craving, as in the commercials. Shook it a bit. Sorry.
Oh, you can use an opener on these.
Really?
Sure, doesn't it say so?
Who do they expect to read this, roaches?
All right, still trying to read the cap. Sidney goes to the foyer and he's off. Clifford's wiping his hands, sits down again, pockets the handkerchief, studies the page, and resumes typing. After a few moments, Sidney comes strolling in the foyer, carefully pouring a beer into the Pilsner glass.
So you've lost your interest in thrillers, huh? No taste for the intricate plotting and the glib, superficial characters? Want to do something real and meaningful, socially relevant?
Hey, cut it out, will you? Your ideals start coming.
Possibly.
Just relax. Don't try to bug me. It'll come.
Death Trap. A thriller in 2 acts.
Clifford looks up wide-eyed. He turns. Sidney smiles at him and turns to the next page.
Characters. Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga Van Brock. The action takes place in Julian Crane's study in the Crane home in Westport, Connecticut.
You have one hell of a nerve stealing.
Setting! Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted stable grafted onto an authentic colonial house. Sliding doors upstage center, open onto a foyer, which are the house's front doors. Entrances to the living room and kitchen, and the stairway to the 2nd floor. French doors upstage right, open onto a shrubbery-flanked patio. Downstage left is a fieldstone fireplace, practical to the extent that paper can be burned in it.
And he's basically describing the actual set that you see.
The room's furnishings are tastefully chosen antiques. A few chairs and occasional pieces. A buffet downstairs right with liquor, decanters, and the focus of the room, Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? The one he worked at before he took crazy Willard Peterson into his home? Patterned draperies hang at the French doors. The room is decorated with framed theatrical posters, unlike these, which are window cards, not posters, and a collection of guns, handcuffs, maces, broadswords, and battle axes, several of which I'm going to make use of any minute now.
Oh, that's it. You're not going to act out the 11 pages? Would you like me to explain?
What's to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it thoroughly.
I have exactly the same wish you have. A success wish.
This is going to bring you success?
It hit me that night. Remember, I put in the extra speech when you were looking for the key? It can be a terrific thriller.
In which someone like me and someone like you get someone like Myra a fatal heart attack?
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
What, pray tell, is your definition of success? Being gangbanged in the shower at the state penitentiary?
I knew you would have some reservations about it. That's why my first instinct was to say it wasn't even a thriller. I haven't enjoyed putting you on, Sidney. I'm glad it's out in the open.
You knew I'd have reservations.
Well, you do, don't you?
Oh, the House Madman's writing a play that'll send both of us to prison.
It won't.
I'm standing here terrified, petrified, horrified, stupefied, crapping my pants, and he calls that having reservations. I'm not going to use one of those on you. I'm going to beat you to death with Roget's thesaurus.
There is no possible way for anyone to prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, if I could change things, I would. But I can't. It has to be a playwright Who else can pretend to receive a finished work that could make tons of money?
A novelist, a composer. Why am I discussing
A
this?
surefire smash hit symphony? No. And would a novelist or a composer know where to get a garrote that squirts blood or how to stage a convincing murder? It has to be a playwright. Who writes thrillers? Because Arthur Miller probably has old sample cases hanging on his wall. I suppose I could make it Wilton and some Westports.
Why make it anywhere? Why make it?
It's there, Sydney.
That's mountains, not plays. Plays aren't there till some asshole writes them.
Stop and think for a minute, will you? Think about that night. Try to see it all from an audience's viewpoint. Everything we did to convince Myra that she was seeing a real murder would have exactly the same effect on them. Weren't we giving a play? Didn't we write it, rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this terrific play that's come in the mail. He jokes about killing for it. Then calls Willard and invites him over, getting him to bring the original copy. Audience thinks exactly what Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Everything that happened from the moment that we came through that door. All the little ups and downs we put in to make it ring true. The I'm expecting a phone call bit. Everything. Tighten up a little bit naturally. And then the strangling, which scares the audience as much as it does Doris.
No wonder you didn't need an outline.
It's all up here. Every bit of it. Scene 3. Inga von Bronk. Few laughs, right? Can't hurt. Then Julian and Doris get ready to go upstairs. It looks as if the act is drawn to kind of a so-so close, and pow! In comes Will. Out of the grave and seeking vengeance. Shock? Surprise? Doris has her heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating, and the audience realizes that Julian and Willard are in cahoots. That there isn't a surefire thriller, that Willard is moving in. Curtain is Julian burning the manuscripts. Or calling the doctor, I'm not sure which. Now, to be honest about it, isn't that a surefire first act?
Yes. What an intermission. 20 years to life.
Oh, no one can prove it really happened. They can't. How can they?
And what do you say to the man from the Times when he says, "Don't you work for Sidney Bruhl? And didn't his wife have a heart attack just around the time you came here?"
No comment.
Oh my God.
I know, it's going to be a little sticky, but, well, everybody's opening up about everything these days, aren't they? In print, on TV. Why not on stage? And as long as it can't be proved, I've given it some serious thought, Sydney, and I honestly believe it'll help the play, given it an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
Well, I'm sure you're right. I can see the little box in the New York Magazine now. Tongues are wagging about the interesting similarities between events in the new play Death Trap and interesting similarities between Clifford Anderson and his employer Sidney Bruhl, who committed suicide on opening night. When queried, Mr. Anderson said, "No comment." Well, I have a comment, Cliff. No, absolutely not. No. I have a name and a reputation, tattered perhaps, but still valid for dinner invitations, house seats, and the conducting of summer seminars. I want to live out my years as the author of The Murder Game, not some fag who knocked off his wife. Why, look, a fieldstone fireplace. Let's see if it's practical to the extent that...
Don't you dare! You burn that, I go out of here and I write it again somewhere else. I'll get a house-sitting job. Give it to me. Give it, Sydney. I helped you kill for the chance to become what I want to be. You're not going to take it away from me. I'd hope that when I showed you the finished draft, you would be impressed enough to get over your Angel Street uptightness and pitch in, but I guess we can forget about that.
Oh. A collaboration.
It's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not pretending it's all my baby, and I know that scene 1 is coming out a little heavy and stilted. I hoped we could be a team. Bruhl and Anderson.
Rogers and Heartless.
No, now you see, I could never come up with something like that.
I'm sorry, but I really don't feel like collaborating on my public humiliation.
Next season's hit. Don't say I didn't ask. Sydney moves, perturbed. Clifford standing by the desk, playing with the folder, glances at him in the folder again. I think maybe I'd better move out anyway.
Why?
Well, when Helga Tindorp said a woman was going to use the dagger because of a play, maybe Shirley wasn't too far off that target.
Don't be silly. I love you. I wouldn't think of trying to harm you. Besides, you break my neck.
Goddamn right I would.
So don't talk about leaving.
I don't know. I'm not going to feel comfortable with you being unhappy about this. And
I'll whistle a lot. Yeah, maybe I am being old-fashioned and uptight.
You are. Huh. These days, geez, who cares about anything?
I certainly could use half the royalties of a good solid hit.
I think there's a movie in it too.
Porter just gave me the figures on Myers estate. It's even smaller than I thought. $22,000, half of which goes in taxes. There's the house and land, of course, but I can't sell any acres until the will goes through probate. He said it'll take 2 or 3 years.
Oh.
The insurance money isn't all that much.
The offer's still open.
You know, it crossed my mind this afternoon that the play and the mail thing would make a good first scene. Really.
It's your idea, Sydney. All I did was help with some of the details. Pretty neat the way you managed it.
I tried breaking in. The damn thing's a fortress. Porter noticed you locking up. I was afraid you were doing something on ESP.
And I thought I was being so inconspicuous.
He's sharp. Not dull, but sharp.
Sydney smiles, looks at the finished page. Sydney weighs his decision.
I'll do it. Let people talk. I'll blush all the way to the bank.
You mean it?
At Brule and Anderson.
Great. We'll make it Wilton, not Westport.
No, leave it Westport. The hell with it.
Jesus. Think me. Clifford Anderson. Collaborating with Sidney Brule.
That's from Act 1.
Huh. Act 2 is going to be a problem.
How so?
Well, got the murder in Act 1, 2 murders in effect, and Act 2 is liable to be a letdown.
Not necessarily.
We'll bring in a detective, of course. The 5th character. I was thinking of the Connecticut version of the one in Dial M.
Inspector Hubbard.
Ah, yeah. And Inga von Bronk ought to come in again. A good comic character like that, it would be foolish not to make the most of her.
You go on drafting Act 1. Let me do a little thinking on Act 2.
Clifford smiles at him, glances at his finished page, and begins typing. Sidney looks sorrowfully at him for a moment, and picks up his beer, leans back in his chair and thinks, and thinks, as the lights fade to blackout. So, I love Act 1, Scene 1, or Act 2, Scene 1 of Death Trap because we really find out just what the hell is going on, how it's, what's really going on. There's such a shock at the end of Act 1 when you discover that Clifford isn't really dead and that he has a relationship with Sydney.
Yep.
You guys played this expertly.
Yep.
We
and let me say that in the event that we do this in the next year or two, hint, just so I won't spoil it for you, that the scene that we just read, if you're setting a mousetrap,
it's a hell of a one.
We've just set the trap and baited it.
Yeah. Oh,
that's all that's happened so far.
It ends so spectacularly. Hour 11. I know a lot of people love Rosemary's Baby, but this is the tops for me. So that's it. So next week on Going Off Book, we'll give some more updates about possible dates for Frozen and Chicago, as well as we'll talk to you about season 52. So we'll go through that, give you some information, do a reading, and yeah, that'll be really good.
Do we need to have some theme music for this, like when we go off the air, maybe?
Maybe.
Other than just saying bye.
Well, actually, I'm because we have new technology. I'm working with a volunteer on being our technology kind of coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, we really could, like, hopefully sometime in the near future, we're gonna. That may be what I meant to talk about earlier. Is we're looking to make our entire experience here at CTA a lot more 2020. So. That's
not 1920.
Not 1920, 2020. So, like, in lobby signage, we're gonna use some cameras in some effective ways, and so technology is going to be a part of what we do going forward. So, yeah, I'm talking with some volunteers about that, and
music,
yeah, so we can have that done live, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be fun. All right, so next week at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Be here.
We'll be on time next week. So we'll see you soon. Where theater comes live.
Peace.